What is going on, my trainer club? We have Mewtwo. We have been fighting Mewtwo for a few days now, and what I want to do is take a little bit of time to make sure you are setting up the most efficient battle parties, because there are great battle parties, and then there are the parties that you get selected for from the game. So let's make sure that I want to make sure that you can see this excellent throw tutorial that I have up here. So if you want to hit more excellence to catch more Mewtwo's, check out this video right up here. And number 2, let's make the best battle parties that we possibly can so that we can beat Mewtwo, because he is a lot harder than the EX Raid Battle Mewtwo. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. Alright everyone, we are going to do the Mewtwo Raid Counter Party video because Mewtwo has got a bunch of different new moves, and there's really only one move we need to be concerned about. But also we do have to recognize that Mewtwo is now a stronger raid boss than the EX raids, which I'm sure that everybody has fought him has realized that. We used to be able to 3-man him with no problem, but we cannot do that anymore. His health is actually 18,750 HP, and his total CP is 60,540, which is said to be one of the strongest Pokemon. So at a level 20, 100% IV, we are going to be catching a Mewtwo at 2275. So that is no weather boost, level 20. If he is weather boosted, which is going to be in windy weather, he is going to be a 2844 100% IV, because he is a pure psychic type. And it actually says that a minimum of 6 players is required to beat Mewtwo with no problem. But to me, in this new tier 5, he is probably more of like an 8 player. Unless you're really good players, you can probably get away with 5, but it's going to be very close. And if he has the Focus Blast move, which we'll check out in a second, that is going to pose a problem to the small party size that I'm recommending right now. So Mewtwo is weak to Dark, Ghost, and Bug. So those are going to be the top counters. And so let's get right into this, not waste any time. The number 1 counter we are looking at is going to be Tyranitar. And this is going to be Bite, Crunch, Tyranitar, which is the Dark moveset. The only thing to note here is if Mewtwo has Focus Blast, he will be horribly ineffective in the fact that Mewtwo will kill him very, very quickly. So the Pokemon to use if he has Focus Blast is anything but Tyranitar, and the way you can recognize that is if it puts in all psychic Pokemon, he is going to have Focus Blast. So my party looks like when he has Focus Blast, Lugia, Mewtwo, and then some other psychic Pokemon. So if you see that, that is a pretty good indicator that he is going to have a Focus Blast move with no Tyranitars in there. So the moveset and the party is going to be best suited, if you have it, all Tyranitars with Bite and Crunch. As for the general Mewtwo party, that's without the Focus Blast. So the second counter, which is actually the most important counter, but they've deemed it rare, so they don't make it as the number 1, is actually Mewtwo with Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, which is the Ghost move. He actually is immune to the Focus Blast, and he can basically be the most versatile attacker in the game. So if you do have 6 Mewtwo, Psycho Cut, Shadow Ball powered up, this would be the Pokemon to use. And then after that, Gengar is going to be in the 3rd spot as one of the best Pokemon, but let me just make note here that he goes down very, very quick. He is not a very sustainable attacker. He does not have a lot of HP in there. He is more of a high DPS, low damage output overall because of how fast he goes down. So now let's look at some other good attackers. We are also going to look at Gyarados with Bite and Crunch as the dark moves. And then Dragonite doesn't have any super effectiveness, but he's just a good DPS overall attacker, and he gets pretty high CP, so that's why they put him in here. So you can go Dragon Tail Outrage with Dragonite. However, I think all of these other dark move Pokemon are better. And then we have Houndoom with Snarl, Foul Play. And then as we're going down the list, these are getting a little bit less effective, but still pretty effective. We have Scizor with Fury Cutter and X Scissor. We have Shiftry with Feint Attack and Foul Play. We have Crawdaunt with Snarl and Night Slash. And then we also have Pinsir with Fury Cutter and X Scissor. The other thing we have to note is that Scizor and Pinsir are both weak to fire. So if Mewtwo gets Flamethrower, the best parties not to put in are going to include Scizor and Pinsir. So the Flamethrower slightly throws a wrench into what parties you're going to choose based on the fact that he is going to have this type of weakness and strength towards the attackers from the raid boss. So now we want to know, as far as this goes, how do we set up our Mewtwo parties to be best suited when we are going into the attack mode? We have the Mewtwo setup parties. So we actually have 3 parties that we're going to set up right now. The number 1 party is going to be the regular Mewtwo without the Focus Blast. So there's a couple of different parties or ways that you can go about setting this up. The most general and easiest one to do, which is going to have the least amount of resistance, is going to be my number 1 party. If you have the Shadow Ball Mewtwo, go ahead and put those guys in there. Those are going to be the first 2. And then we are going to put Houndoom in there because he has no resistance to these other guys. You can also then put in a Gengar. And you can also put in a Gyarados if you have one with Bite. Mine's not super powered up, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. So if you want the least amount of resistance as far as what you have to do to guess, the number 1 person to put in there is going to be the Mewtwo with the Shadow Ball and Psycho Cut. This is the most general, easy to use party. This will not have any counter indications. But just for the sake of this video, we are going to go ahead and set up a Mewtwo party without Focus Blast. So I'm just going to name it as Mewtwo Regular. So this one, you can go ahead and put all of your Tyrantars in there, because Tyranitar is the number 1 attacker besides the Mewtwo. So if you really are so inclined and want to have a pure Tyranitar Bite Crunch army, this is going to be the most effective attacking party right here because of the Dark moveset against the Psychic, and it's going to do a ton of damage. You just have to make sure that it does not have the Focus Blast, because the Focus Blast will take out these Tyrantars very quickly. So this is the second party. And then the other party I'm going to note, but it's going to be a negligible party if he has Flamethrower. So here's our third Mewtwo party. This one's just kind of a cool party. I'm going to just start off with my Mewtwo's every time. So if he has Flamethrower, the ones you cannot use are going to be this party, but I'm going to set this one up just in case you want to use these guys. So this is Scizor. This is going to be Pinsir. And I'll put 2 Pinsirs in here. And then just for fun, we'll go ahead and put a Tyranitar in there. So this party is great, but it will not work for when Mewtwo has Flamethrower. So oftentimes you're going to see Agrons in there. You're going to see Lugias when he has Focus Blast. So if he has Focus Blast, you can use either this top party or you can use this bottom party. And then if he doesn't have Focus Blast, I would suggest using either this Mewtwo regular party, or you can go ahead and be even more efficient and do something like this with the Mewtwo. That would be the most effective party right there if he doesn't have Focus Blast. Most effective, 2 Shadow Ball Mewtwo's. This is going to be the one to do if he does have anything but Fire Blast. Fire Blast will then kill out the Scizor and the Pinsir because they're weak to fire. And then this is the Mewtwo party if he is going to have the Focus Blast. So anything but the Tyranitars will work. You can also do the Scizor and the Pinsir in this one with Focus Blast. They are both equally effective. And then the other thing I want to note is that we have new moves, which you guys have all seen this. We have Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and then the Focus Blast in there. So the Focus Blast is really going to give the Tyranitar the trouble. This is going to be the most effective things that we have right now. Mewtwo is going to have the most damage output, so I would stick to him if you can, and then you won't even have to worry about the Focus Blast. But if you don't and you're using Tyranitars, you have to get comfortable with which Pokemon they're putting in as the auto selector. For me, it was all Psychic Pokemon. Then I could tell that Mewtwo had Focus Blast. And then the other ones, you are going to then put that in. So these are the 2 most effective Mewtwo parties, as you can see here. and that is what I would stick with, and that is what I would go with. Thank you for tuning in, guys, to the Trainer Club. As always, I hope that these Mewtwo battle parties help you tremendously, and then also make sure to check out the excellent throw tutorial that I have for Mewtwo. I have two up there. One is a little bit older, one is the newest version. So if you have my circles breaking down where the release points are, that is the newest version. You can check it out after this video. And then, of course, the other videos I'm going to come out with is Mewtwo better than the legendaries for having these unique moves? Because we have Zapdos, we have Articuno, and we have Moltres all having these movesets that Mewtwo now has. So is it effective to use Mewtwo over these other guys? I can't wait to show you guys those videos. They will be coming next week, and I am moving to Oregon, so I will be in transition, and I will see you guys playing out on the West Coast very soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you being a part of the Trainer Club.